So I got a pretty stout package that just got delivered. As you can see, it's on a pallet. It's pretty big. I'll give you the name. I mean, shake it around. Sounds like metal, but give you a hint. The name of the company is ESCO. ESCO. I was honestly not expecting this thing to be this big. I was supposed to receive it on Thursday, and on the 18th, or sorry, the 16th or the 18th. And on FedEx website, they said it was delayed due to, it was in transit delayed due to some kind of emergency. Well, they called me yesterday saying, hey, your thing is going to be set up for delivery today. You got to be home to receive it. And I was like, okay. And then they put me on a time frame. So, also, the driver, I needed to be here to receive it, to sign for it. I didn't know signature service was required. Kind of makes sense, but I also needed to be here to help the driver unload this thing. So I came on one of the big FedEx 18-wheelers, if you will. And the lady I spoke to said I needed to pay. I needed to help the driver unload it because I did not have lift gate service. Sure enough, when I saw the truck, it did have a lift gate and it did have a pallet jack. But instead, myself and the FedEx driver, we both lifted this item weighing 264 pounds, you know, at chest height. So luckily I'm tall, he's pretty tall, so we were able to get it going, but that's kind of crazy. So I got it off eBay, and it was like purchase it and like free shipping. So I guess that's how you sell it, and then you're responsible for unloading it yourself, I guess. So that was kind of minus the delay shipping and the fact that you had to potentially put yourself in a situation where you could hurt your back by lifting this heavy product. Those were two downsides to this whole package so far. But as you can see, it's plastic wrap, and then we have boxes that are like banded together. So I'll just cut these straps. That, and we'll cut this one. But I was fully expecting this. I might have bought it like 2 weeks ago or something. So we'll cut all these straps. Kind of pull them out. Really careful with these straps, because they can definitely slice your hands open. Soak in this knife if you want to keep it away from your face. Just cut these off so I don't like trip over them. You can see, let's see, you can see on the side, you might be able to see the number. So it's ESCO item number 1010. Let's kind of zoom in right there. ESCO 10802 It's a one-piece item, and then you got a net weight in kilograms. And as you can see, it looks like 4 boxes on a pallet, right? So there are 4 items. We'll dig into one just to see what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I've never touched one of these before. This brand, this specific item. But I do know what it is. Let's see. Let's see how much one of these weigh by themselves. Not bad by itself. I think one of these units are like 60 pounds, and I got 4 of them. So, and the moment of truth. Holy smokes. This is partly ridiculous. So this is crazy, but we're gonna try to take it out of the box here. And there we go. Just try not to drop it on anything, including my foot here. But this, my friend, try to spin it around, will be, I have a feeling, will be the last jack stand. See if you can see it. Oh, no, you can't really see it, so we'll pivot this thing up. That, my friend, is the last jack stand I will ever purchase. Definitely not a toy. Definitely takes up a lot of room. Already thinking about where I'm going to store this. But this is the ESCO. Looks like it has some set screws in here. But this is the ESCO 20-ton jack stand, and this is the short model. This is crazy. Super crazy. I mean, I'm still like blown away by the size. See if I can take you in for a closer look. I mean, you can. I mean, it's about, I don't know, 5 feet away, and you can see the sheer size of it. I'll take you in for a closer peek, just so you can get the full effect. But that's the 20-ton ESCO jack stands, and I can tell this thing is a beast. So why did I get this? Well, I'm not lifting a semi-truck or anything, or any type of overly large vehicles, if any. All I'm lifting right now is a car. But I wanted a good quality jack stand, and I wanted something that could adjust in fine increments, such as this one with a screw type. So I'm just like screwing it up. I think it goes from like 17.5 to 28 or 29 inches. So this is pretty tall for a jack stand. Like, you put your car on here, I don't know, let me make sure. See, it's already going out of frame. So I'm gonna get this camera winded up higher. Be a little bit shaky while I do this. But we'll get this up just so you can see the full effect, and we'll bring it back now that you've been in closer. But this here is the ESCO 20-ton jack stands. Like I said, I got it because I needed something that I could adjust in infinite, like, height, as far as like within its range. I could adjust it in those small increments, because I do have a Ranger or a quick jack, and and I just kind of hated going under it just with its locking mechanism alone. But I think this is overkill. This is overkill not because of the 20-ton, but this is overkill in terms of the freaking size. And I not only have one, I have 4 of these items. I mean, you can see the saddle right here, it's huge. The threads, this thing is huge. I mean, I can't wrap my entire hand around it. It does not fit. I mean, you can see, you got these big wings right here, which, one positive to them, it looks like, especially for storage purposes, it looks like they do come out. So, yep. It's just like light aluminum, so it's not quite heavy. Probably try to save on weight for like a non-critical part of this item. So I'm just removing the. So if you needed to save on weight, and you weren't concerned about having all these different wings on it, you know, you could just like undo them all. And I pretty much undid them by hand to make sure this is still in the frame. Right there. So I literally undid all these screw-in handles. I guess you can just I can just probably screw them back in. And it's kind of slightly cross-threaded. You know what? They might be specific. No, they're not. Just got to get them in going to the threads correctly. But if you just needed one on it, just to raise it up. But this is crazy. So I got 4 of these items. Can you believe it? I already have jack stands, but I wanted to get something not necessarily robust because I have an Omega 20-ton jack stand. I just needed something with like smaller increments of adjustment. And I mean, my car is only, I don't know, 4,800 pounds. And this is 20-ton. And the sheer size of this thing is crazy. So we'll thread these all in all the way so they don't fall out on my foot. And they thread in pretty easily. There you go. And it spins pretty easily. I'm not sure if this is supposed to spin in order to raise it. Like it. Yeah. So it's like being raised right now. I can see the threads adjusting as I'm like just pressing on it. And I'm trying to pull on it, see if it releases. And it's not releasing. So I'm not sure how far out this thing threads. I mean, if you have this jack stand, I mean, let's see if it's still in frame. That's how high it is. We'll grab a tape measure. I forgot, the min height was like 17. Yep, so it still has like 2 inches to go, 2 inches of travel. And this is a short version. They do have a tall version that I believe goes up to 40. And, ooh, I can't imagine how big that thing is. Right. So I've seen these briefly online, but not to this extent. Okay, so, yep, it stopped. Let's see. Yep, it's not falling out. There's some kind of like set screws. There's one right here. There's there's 3 of them like around the perimeter of this sleeve. And I believe they're the set screws that hold this entire unit together without it falling out. You know, it doesn't hold the weight, it just keeps it from falling out. The wells on this is pretty nice. I don't see any like defects in the wells or anything. You know, you can tell that the gaps here, as the paint kind of fades, it will show a little bit of the gap. It's only like welded here at the bottom and at the top and around the base. It's not welded down the seam right here, because you can see the crack in the paint. It does have a carrying handle right here, a pretty large handle. That kind of tapers off up to the top, as far as like angled up to the top. Well, it's angled at top and bottom, but the base of it, let's put it on the side. It's gonna punch a hole in the box. I mean, the base of it, it's that I don't know what to call it. It's that metal with all those like, I don't know, pieces on there. So it'd be nice if it was rubbery, if you had a rubber, but you can attach some kind of rubbery adhesive. You can get a piece of rubber and like adhere to this if you were concerned, but it's a jack stand, so you don't really want any play in terms of like left or right. The base of this, 13 inches. 13 inches. Yep. 13 by 13. It has a hole in here. Can't really see in there, it's dark. A little hole in the bottom, like a little drain hole. Obviously you don't want to leave the stuff outside for it to rust, especially if you want longevity out of it. But the sheer size of this, you definitely have to have room to store this thing. This thing is going to be, as I've mentioned before, this thing is going to be passed down generations to generations to generations. There's no way. I mean, 20 ton is for a pier, right? So it's not, this one unit is rated for like 10 ton, but the 20 ton that's typically labeled on this is meant to be used as a pier, right? So all in all here, you know, it's like 40 tons. I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be read. 20 ton per pier. Not 80 tons as people would have you believe. It's bulky, but it seems it's heavy and it's light at the same time. Because for the size of the unit, you're expecting to be way bigger. I would say this thing, I mean, one little finger, I can use a pinky finger. You know, I can use a pinky finger to get it going. Granted, that's without any load on it. And even if I put the weight of my hand on it to get it to go down, let's see. Obviously, you wouldn't want to adjust this, you know, on a car or something. I don't think. I got to read the safety manual, or the manual. But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to spin like, you know, a car that's on it up and down. So yeah, you can see that they have different models. So I got this model. They have the pin style, and that's where the pin style doesn't allow for those like fine adjustments. But if you've never seen one of these and you're contemplating buying one, especially if you have a larger vehicle, I don't know, a tractor or a truck, or I think I'm spinning it up. Yeah, I was going up. An RV, am I going up or down here? I'm going down. You know, some kind of larger vehicle. Definitely, this is, I don't want to use the term overkill for a car, because you can never be too safe if you're under a car. But if you're gonna have a vehicle on a jack stand, this is probably the unit to go with. This is ridiculous. I'm still getting over the size of it. I'm gonna pop all of them out of the box and set them side by side so you can see them. I'm just trying to show you this thing winding down all the way. And it went up to, I forgot to measure that thing, the full height when it was up top, but it was about 26 when I measured it, and I had about 1.5 inches of travel. So I think it's about 27 or 28 inches tall, the max height, and that's pretty solid. Like, I would get under a car with no problems with this. Sleep under a car. And then obviously at its lowest, it's gonna be, I wanna say it was 17. Yeah, it's about 16.5 at its lowest. At its lowest right now. So 16.5, call it 17 at its lowest. Let's see what the actual spec says. The manual is literally just a piece of paper folded in two. Yeah. The heights are in millimeters. So this is the 027. I know it's a 20-ton, but I don't even know where it's made. It doesn't talk about where it's made. It talks about specifications of different model, important safety information, warning, operation, maintenance and inspection, and that's it. So this is like a one-page piece of flimsy. See how long this video is, and 21 minutes. So we'll knock this out real quick. We'll just take these out of the box so you can see them side by side. So we'll, I'm still not sure how this unit is locked in place. So I'm very skeptical of like giving myself enough room so if it falls, it does not like take out my foot. So that unit is right there. Definitely I'm gonna have to find a home for this in terms of where to put it. Obviously it's not a jack stand that I'm gonna break out all the time. Probably for those bigger jobs. You know, I would say the packaging, I'll show you how it's packaged. Obviously you saw how it's packaged earlier, but as far as packaging in the unit, it's just in there. You got this double cardboard interior, standard cardboard, and it looks like each of them comes with a manual because you can buy them separate. But that's how it comes packaged. Obviously I got 4 of them. So we'll come back over here, set this down, get this pivoted right there, and we'll take them out of the boxes and go from there. Spin this down all the way. That's down all the way. So the boxes aren't torn. It probably helps that it was like banded and wrapped and all that stuff, so kind of kept it from bouncing around and like falling over and stuff. And I mean, for something that's big, especially in heavy with these things poking out, it's packaged pretty securely, I think. Some more, like I said, each box comes with its own manual. This one is actually one of the arms came undone, so we'll just kind of thread it back in here before we take it out. And like I said, for storage purpose, if this thing is going to take up a lot of room, these arms, they can be removed. So we'll get this one out. Alright. This one is slightly dented in the box, so I gotta like undent the box to like get it out. Holy smokes. Who needs to go to the gym when you have a delivery like this? I could sleep under my car and I wouldn't be concerned about these, you know, collapsing and giving way, and you know, these are definitely not your typical jack stands, and everyone is going to think this is overkill. Like I said, I don't think you can be too cautious operating a vehicle or working under a vehicle, but at the same time, I was not expecting the size of this. I mean, I was expecting it to be big, but not expecting the sheer size is another thing. Seems like the yellow on this one is definitely a lot more yellow than the remaining three. And you can tell, I've already noticed a big difference, right? So, yeah. So I can tell this little logo is different. In terms of design, they're all the same, but I'll try to point out the difference that I'm seeing. You can probably see it also. Let's take the camera off the tripod real quick. You can probably see it from this angle of the logo. So this one has this little blemish right here, but the logo, that's where it came from. And then the logo on the remaining three are like this, but the heads are the same. Actually, I think it's slightly different. Huh. You can tell that the head on this one is slightly different. It's a lot more like curvature on a little bit more angle on this one versus these. You can, let's see if I can come back a little bit. You can see it. It's definitely different in design, and the color, you can see this one is have a brighter yellow, and these ones are lighter yellow through the three in the back here. But same design as far as setup. I mean, let's see, the handle does come out of this one. And then on the brighter one, you have this this piece of labeling down there at the base. As far as everything else about it, it seems to match up. I mean, it seems like this one is slightly narrow. Let's see, I'm just trying to align it side by side. It seems like the base of this one is slightly narrow, the one that's kind of non-standard, if you will, from the rest of them. So differences that I'm seeing is a saddle, slightly different, slightly more curvature on the ends of it, the lips. We got a little blemish right here. Got a labeling here that's not on the rest of them, and then the labeling right here is different from the labeling on the rest of them. So my only concern is kind of sucks that you got, like, you know, one unit that's kind of odd. But my only concern is that they raise to the same height. And I'm gonna check the model number real quick. And these don't have the model number on them. It doesn't have them listed anywhere. That's kind of sucks. 10802. So this is the one that that's the model number that I bought. Yeah, that's the model number that I bought. So let's see if I got 3 of the incorrect ones. Maybe this is the right one. So this video is going to go slightly longer while I get this like wounded up. So I'm gonna get this thing winded up all the way. Try to do it a little bit expeditious here. It definitely doesn't move as free as the first one. I mean, it moves freely, it's just not as greasy. Probably have to like oil the threads and stuff to get it going. I mean, the well, I'm gonna further inspect these wells and stuff, like all the welding and stuff, and I can do a further review on this later on. But I just wanted to see what I have in a package, and once they're all the same and they measure the same height, I'm not going to be concerned about it too much. I'll just realize I have an odd one out in terms of color. But as far as the weight, and then you know if you had to return one of these just because, you know, it would be more of a headache or whatever. Especially if you had to pay to get this thing shipped back to them just because. Alright, so that's as far as it's gonna go. Let's grab the tape measure real quick just to see. I probably should have measured it at its lowest. For some reason it looks shorter. Right now it's saying at its highest it's 26 and a half. So from the base here, I can show you. I mean, it also has a handle. So from the top of the base plate there to the saddle, it's 26 and a half. So I'll wind one of these up again. This one. Actually, we'll just do the one that's in the front, so we can lay a piece of we can lay a level on it or something and see if it's like marginally close. I'm like gauging the thickness of the threads, and they're about the same. I would say that one has a smaller profile. The one with the very bright yellow. It definitely has a smaller profile. And it has a lot less play in terms of how much movement it has in the neck of it. Yeah. This one has a lot less play. You can hear the rattling less. But it looks like it's all welded the same like design idea. Just takes a while to get it going all the way up. Sorry about that. I threw on gloves before I even got to doing this because I knew it was going to be brutal, but I wasn't expecting the extent. I'm hoping they all get to the same height and stop. Okay, I mean, so right now it's at the same height. It's on relatively level ground. And what I'm gonna do is get my, yep, so that's level ground. Make sure it's in the frame so you can see what I'm talking about. Yep. So off the bat, they look to be the same. Let's see. Yeah, this one is about an inch taller. 26 and a half. Yeah, it seems like the plate on here is slightly thicker, but yeah, it's about 26 and a half. It's obviously different. It's obviously a slightly different spec, but it's not so much different where you're gonna even notice a carbine on it. It's not like a complete, yeah, so this is 26 even. So we'll put a level on it. we'll just drop a level in the saddle and see which way it leans. So I can tell it's not, I can tell there's a slight gap right here, and I can tell you can't really see my level. Let's bring you in. So I have both of them at their max height, and like I said, you can tell the slight difference in color. So that's you can tell the difference. I don't need to explain that, but I got them both sitting in the saddle. This is like very minute. This is picky wet because you can tell I have a different item here. I'm gonna try to show you. You can see the small gap under the level, and then you can see the difference. So that's about how much I'm talking about in terms of it being off. Same thread pitch and everything else. I would almost want to have this yellow one just because the base plate is slightly smaller. It's for storage, but it's honestly not much different. It's really not much different. The last thing I'll measure is the size of the base plate before we'll call this one a wrap. So we said this was the three that matches are 13 by 13, and this is going to be, yep, this is 13 by 12. It's like 13 by, I don't know, 11 3/4. So it's about 1.25 inches in terms of the width, whatever direction you're looking at. But it's like 13 in one and 11 3/4, almost 12 inches in the next. So slightly smaller design. Is it enough to send it back or call the seller and like, hey, I'm concerned about it? Not really. It's just kind of disappointing. I'll look at the boxes real quick to see. So this is one box and the labeling that's on there. And that's the only type of identifying mark. So that's 1082 and the number's 2729. So right there, 1082, 2729, 380, 490. So that matches. Grab 2 more boxes here. Okay. So maybe not. 1082, one piece, 27, 29, 380, 380, 490. So maybe those are the 3 that matches. Let's see if this one. Nope. 1082, one piece, 27, 29, 380, 380, 490. So all the boxes are labeled the same. Clearly the seller or the shipper or whatever you want to call it, they would have not opened all the boxes. You know, they would have had this thing in the warehouse or somewhere, and they would have, they would have just picked your order and be like, okay, person ordered 2, 3, 4, one of these items. They're just gonna grab them. But clearly there's like a slight difference, very slight, minute difference. So we'll remove the level from there. I'm not gonna spend the time, it's already at 40 minutes. I'm not gonna spend the time to wind all of them up. But if you were thinking about buying these ESCO jack stands, the model number that you saw in the video, 10802, these things aren't small. If you don't have the room to store them, I mean, they take up a lot of room, I can tell. I mean, you can see it. It's gonna be, 26 by 26 as far as the storage goes. So you gotta have ample room to store them. And if you do store them, they're gonna take up a little bit of space. But if you've never seen these, if you're curious about them, what they look like, here they are, live and living colored, fresh off the UPS truck or the FedEx truck. will I get my car up on them? I mean, obviously I don't have a jack to get these, get my car lifted up and then to put those under them at their full height. And I'm kind of curious if I can, like, once I have the weight of the car on there, if I can wind these up in small increments, you know, to adjust it. You know, I don't know if it has like a ball bearing in here, or with the weight of the car on it, how much you're able to turn it. But I mean, I don't think I would ever need to do that anyway. I mean, if I needed to, I would feel pretty confident doing it. You know, probably just obviously stay away from the weight of the car on the edge and turn it. I wouldn't want to lay under the car and, you know, keep cranking that stuff. You just never know. But yeah, you've never seen these before. These are at not their lowest. So I'll try to put these two at their lowest. Bear with me a second. And that would be a good comparison, actually. So you can see them at their lowest. And we'll get this one spun down. Sorry, I'm trying to use one hand here. Spin it down, spin it down, spin it down. And then you can see both of them. You can see two at their lowest and two at their highest. All right, cool. So we'll try to, so this is it. That's, we'll go from a side profile here. So that's, the front ones are at their highest, and then the back ones are at their lowest. Anyway, I'm gonna find a way to store these things, or where I'm gonna store them. But anyway, as I always say, like and don't hate the thing. 42 minutes in. All right, next time.